If I had words to make a day for you, I'd sing you a morning, golden and new. I would make this day last for all time. Give you a night deep in moonshine. If I had words to make a day for you, I'd sing you a morning, golden and new. I would make this day last for all time. Give you a night deep in moonshine. Welcome to Mirador Television. Break an egg. Oh, good morning. It's 8:23 on the morning of October the 7th, I think it is today, is it? Yes, it's October the 7th, I think. Welcome to Mirador Television. That intro takes about 2.5 minutes, believe it or not. So we were on at 8:20, but here it is. We've been, 8:24 now. We've been on air for a little over 3 minutes, so we were mildly late. Demanio lives. But I like that music to start the day, or start my day, or start your day, or whatever, because it's so lively. Da, 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 da. Yes, as my daughter says. How do you sing that? Yeah. God bless her. But the fact of the matter is that we need lifting a bit, because the news, as usual, is sort of gloom and doom. However, let's look at some of the positives. First of all, the forecast for snow down here is being rubbished by the Met Office. Ha ha ha! They said no, it's not likely to come much more south than Hadrian's Wall. Perhaps a little dusting of the English side of it, but Scotland might take a beating from snow, but we most certainly won't. And this morning, it has rained overnight. I can see the drops, and it may well be just drizzling a little now, because the clouds are fairly low, turning into mist in the far distance. But my trees, my famous trees, that tell me whether it's going to be breezy or not, are dead calm, dead still. I have the door to the balcony open. I'm looking out on beautiful plants and some trees, and not a whisper of any breeze. However, the forecast is for a mild breeze later on. The temperature is going to reach 18 degrees, which is an increase of, I think, 1 on yesterday, and it's likely to get even brighter tomorrow. I don't see that in the forecast for our area that we're going to bake to death the way that some people have been told that they're going to, but it does look as if the weather will be half decent for the next few days. So take advantage of it, because then wham, bam, woo, in we go. And we start on autumn, turning into winter quite quickly. Autumn, just a lovely, lovely time of the year, just full of colour. If any of you have spent any time in Canada during, or for that matter, New England in the States in this time of the year, it is absolutely brilliant. The colours, just absolutely superb, and they lift the spirits. So I hope the fact that autumn brings some colour here, and I'm looking out at nice colours, particularly with fruit and vegetables and that sort of thing, that will lift your spirits enormously to go through today. I was a bit down yesterday, and I must say that a couple of nice things happened to me. First of all, from a very good friend, I got a note saying, "Come on, get with it. We know that you're a half glass full type of guy. Everybody's undergoing a little bit of depression at the moment, so stop feeling sorry for yourself." So this morning I forced myself to stop feeling sorry for myself, even though I've got a million problems, as everybody has, not least of which is, if you're dependent upon universal credit, of course, is the extra 20 quid is coming to an end. Marcus Rashford, the footballer, is campaigning to tell the government, come on, don't end it right now, because all sorts of things are increasing, the cost of fuel, etc. And one of the headlines in the newspapers this morning is that the flu deaths may reach 60,000. There is a flu epidemic on the way, which we've known about possibly since 2016, I think, according to one newspaper. And we can expect this to sweep the country. So get a flu jab. It doesn't always ward off the flu totally, but it does mean that you don't get it terribly badly. I've got my jab tomorrow morning, and by golly, I'm going for it. As a matter of fact, I've got so used to having pretty nurses jab me in the arm that I actually do look forward to the occasion. Some people don't like being vaccinated, and that's fair enough. That's your choice. But do be aware that the influenza is going to take over from COVID. And even then, we're told that there's another COVID strain lurking around. Oh dear, 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 dear. So in terms of viruses and the attacks on mankind or humankind, or whatever we want to say to be politically correct, a myriad. Just think about how you might protect yourself. Personally, I've used in the past a good stiff scotch with a bit of lemon in it. But I find it difficult to drink scotch nowadays. It actually makes me slightly aggressive. Oh, people will say, makes you aggressive. You are aggressive. Yeah, I suppose I am really. But you know, aggression sometimes gets you somewhere. I've had a real fight with the NHS, not with the doctors and the nurses. On the contrary, not with the doctors and nurses. I am full of praise for them, and particularly the ambulance drivers and the people who are what are called support services. And they are extremely good. But what the administrators and some of the power brokers have done in terms of, particularly in our area, put together all the surgeries is just not working. But I have to say that I did get a result because I'm such a pest and such a nuisance that at long last I'm going to get to see my dedicated GP. So if you do kick up a fuss long enough, you can get to see the person who has looked after you for a long time. And I'm sorry, NHS bureaucrats, but there have been article after article after article of knowing doctors that say that you stand a much better chance of living, of defeating disease, of defeating death, of defeating all the nasty things that can happen to you if you've got a doctor that knows you and understands you and you can eyeball to eyeball. And I believe that very strongly, and I've fought for it, and hopefully I've got it. Well, I've got a date anyway. I hope she doesn't go down with the flu. Oh dear, 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 dear. Anyway, those are the things there. But the light winds, probably no rain today. But having said that, it is raining slightly. Yes, it is. There's a drizzle out there at the moment. But there was yesterday, and that cleared up quite quickly. So I hope it will today. But we don't get sunshine until quite late afternoon. And even then, it'll be through scattered cloud. There's just a layer of thick, grey, dense stuff up there at the moment. Now, just those few things have taken me 10 minutes. Yap, yap, yap. No, they didn't, because with almost 3 minutes with the introduction. So I'm allowed a little bit of license. The rubbish strike in Brighton is kicking in. Rubbish is beginning to pile up. So far, it hasn't spread. But it's difficult to know exactly what the bin men are asking for, if we're allowed to call them bin men anymore, whatever they are anyway. You know, I don't mind being called a hack as a journalist. And why people get so sensitive about what they're called, I have no idea. It just doesn't spark with me at all. It's it's calling a spade a shovel or vice versa or whatever. But anyway, the bin men have been on strike for a couple of days now. Rubbish beginning to pile up, and apparently it's not so much about wages as making sure that the council, and that's not our council so far anyway, but the Brighton and Hove Council treat them with what's called respect. And I think what they're really saying is, hey, hang on. Supervisors have been saying, work an extra couple of hours. I can't. Then find yourself another job. That sort of thing. Well, hopefully that isn't true, but that is the sort of feeling that you're getting. That the sort of thing that they're a bit upset at, not so much how much they're paid. Right, okay. No snow. Of course, what we've got to really worry about is the price of gas. It's very confusing because I spoke to our energy expert, Stewart Dalby, yesterday, and said, it looks as if Putin is beginning to take his foot off the pedal and release a bit more gas. That was the story in the Financial Times. He said, I don't believe it. And he said, anyway, even if he does, we can expect a surge in prices because there's been mismanagement of the companies, particularly the smaller ones, the cheaper ones. And so we're back down to where we've got 5 or 6 of the big heavies in charge, with only 1 or 2 of the independents left, and they will set the price because they're able to by law. So it doesn't look as if Mr. Putin is going to have much impact upon gas prices. It's down to a lot of other factors as well. However, if he does take his foot off the tube and allow gas to filter through to us, then indeed it will help just a little bit. The other thing is, of course, is the blockade of the French fishermen threatening to blockade for Christmas. And that has really got a lot of international interest because even his own people are saying, this is Napoleon. We're being ruled by a despot who just decides to do things quite arbitrarily and not reflect the French people. We don't want to cause misery to the British. And indeed, even if the fishermen are militant, and we may have some sympathy with them, is trying to blockade, cut off electricity to Jersey, and that sort of thing is just acts that are not becoming of the French people. And I would agree with that. And I'm glad that the sense seems to be prevailing amongst the electorate. The old Napoleon. Right, okay. We're through to 13 minutes. So let's take a look at the newspaper headlines. The broad thing from the BBC is warnings of a flu war and a new CCCC Cold War. Like the Daily Telegraph, flu deaths may reach 60,000, say experts. Well, we've covered the fact that you should be prepared for that. Get the flu jab if you possibly can. Now for the flu war is the Mirror, and indeed the Mirror, well on the way there. We've got the right and we've got the left of the newspaper industry both agreeing. That's the 3rd time this week, I think. They're going to have to watch it. Their editorial stance is often so opposed, and now they're agreeing with things. Well, perhaps we get the element of truth. The Daily Mail, here comes your £2,000 energy bill. Well, they're talking about the hike in energy prices and what's happening with Putin. They haven't got it totally right, but that's okay. If you really want to get the good news or the accurate news about energy prices, tap into Mirador's Energy Matters, because Stewart Dalby understands the issue. He's a former FT writer, but an energy specialist. And what he says, as my book goes, and I think you should listen to him carefully too. Right, the Metro, the new Cold War. What the Metro is saying is that Putin is deliberately putting up gas prices or slowing down the flow of gas to Europe because he wants to start a new Cold War if one doesn't exist already. And certainly relationships between ourselves, the Russians, the Chinese, and to some extent the people in the Middle East or Middle to Far East, Iran and so on, are at a very frosty level at the moment. And he is, according to the Metro, exacerbating this and making sure that everybody starts to shiver with the international affairs as they are, with him pushing very, very hard. As somebody said to me yesterday, you know, the thing is that some of these countries don't really understand that they've only got one power base, and that is fuel. What else does Russia put out other than fuel? It's hard to say. He was very derogatory and sort of said paper clips. But then went through the other major powers and made the same assessment. So soaring prices are a shock for millions, but that's from the Express. But they rightly point out that it's right across the board, that inflation is pushing prices up. And if you've been to the supermarket within the last 48 hours, you'll have seen it's only a few pence here and a few pence there, but it's reflecting in the supermarkets, both food shortages, because there are signs up in all of them. We are sorry, it's not our fault, which is talking about delivery, but also the fact that inflation is beginning to nibble away at the price that they have to pay for the goods and the price that they're charging us for them. The Daily Star, knickers down and sausages are up. It's saying that there's a shortage of of knickers because of why does it say that we're shortage of knickers? Right out of today, a pants crisis looms due to a shortage of underwear supplies. Now that's a new one on me. I had no idea. So, you know, the knickers to that, as the paper says, and sausages up because the price of sausages is bound to get to up because we're destroying pigs, because we can't get them to the abattoir. The Financial Times, central bankers voice inflation fears. Now, if you think that it's all UK, as often people do on social media, is the government have done this and the government have done that. Inflation is a worry worldwide at the moment, and particularly across Europe. And the world's central bankers are beginning to take a very serious look at inflation to see what they should do. The normal way of capping inflation is to raise interest rates, but they're very loath to do that, particularly at a time when prices are rising anyway. So if you start to add on an extra cost for the price of money, then we've got a real problem. The Guardian, coronavirus report in 2016 warned of a need for tracing and more PPE. What the Guardian is saying is we've done a look back. I'm not sure that many people will be interested really to 2016, and that we could have actually done something then because there was an alert by the experts, by the scientists about coronavirus or something similar, and the governments did absolutely nothing. So there you are. That's a run through the paper. The Eye. Travel opens up for winter sun as a red list is slashed. Right, you can go to more countries if you want, and it's been done in time for half term so that people can get away. And also, you don't have to go through that expensive testing process when you get back. And the Times, the PCR tests for travellers ditched before half term. There we go. Just emphasising what I just said. And what I just said is, I've taken the extra 3 minutes that we do with the intro and the extra. So I'll say to you, toodlepip, and tomorrow will be a Friday, look back. Except tomorrow is Saturday. We'll look back today. Well done. Good old Demanio. Yes, it is Friday. Stay with me. Don't stay with me. Go away. I'll go away if you'll go away. And what happened is tomorrow we can all relax a little bit, except I'm going for my jab, and that takes me into the centre of Lewis, and who knows, if a pub beckons, I just might have to bend to the will of the people. My own particular thirst. Toodle-pip, ta-da. But I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. Well, just before I go, let me say good morning to Mickey Connors, who is on making some usual incisive comments about the flu. As he pointed out, there was no epidemic last year, but perhaps our minds were so focused on COVID that we didn't notice. A tissue. Ta-ra.
Good morning. This is Stewart Dalby, the energy correspondent for Mirador Television. There is never a dull moment, good or bad, in this current energy crisis. We've now had President Putin saying he's going to actually stabilise the gas market. As we all know, the gas price has gone to 10 times what it was 3 years ago, down from about I think it's £5 to £10 to 50p as it was. And now Mr. Putin has said that he will actually stabilise this by some of the gas price has been because Mr. Putin was restraining gas supplies, and he is Germany's main, the Gazprom, the monopoly pipeline, which is owned by Russia, is supplying gas mostly to Germany, but also to Ukraine. And gas traders doubt whether he means what he says, because apparently he is already exceeding the amount allowed under long-term contracts. So why is he doing this? Is he doing it as the US Jennifer something or other, who is saying he's doing this for political reasons? Well, we know that President Putin never does things out of the kindness of his heart. My only conclusion is that Russia is a failed state. It's only got gas and oil, really, to sustain it, and therefore he's trying to make a few more bob out of the whole process rather than stabilising it. And quite soon he will start sort of selling more gas to Germany or the rest of Europe. Now, when it turns to the UK, we are particularly vulnerable because, as I said in my last broadcast to you, that we've only got 2% of annual demand storage. Germany has 30%, so that's a problem. And this morning we hear on the radio that the energy cap is going to go up again next April, because the regulator, Ofgem, decides on it twice a year, so every April. This year, for example, April this year, the energy cap was lifted by 10%. In October, it was, we now know, up by 12%, and that means it's 22% what goes up, what energy companies can theoretically put up for domestic consumers. But we now know that there is an energy cap for domestic consumers. There isn't one for industry. So the big monopoly, the oligopolistic cartel of 5 large energy suppliers can charge what they like to industry, to factories and so on. So that's going to be a real curse, and it seems that the Ofgem is absolutely floundering around, doesn't know whether it's coming or going. So the situation can only get worse, I'm afraid. Anyway, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.